Welcome to All the Gear But No Idea, the South Australian fishing podcast hosted by Rhodey and Diz. The boys will share their tall tales of the one that got away, as well as some regular segments they know all you fishing tragics will enjoy.
G'day guys and welcome to episode 12. We are joined today by Lee Van Soest, a absolute fishing champion. She's got many records and we're looking forward to hearing from her later. Rhodey, how you going?
Good mate, very good, going well. How are you? How you been?
Yeah, good, thank you mate. Some spectacular weather we've had this weekend. You been out on the boat?
Yeah, I got out yesterday morning for a little session, got a couple of squid, which wasn't bad.
Excellent.
What about you?
Yeah, look, haven't got out on the boat. Had to work yesterday and I've had a string of working on the weekend, which hasn't been ideal, but I'm looking forward to getting out amongst it before too long, absolutely.
All right, mate, what's your orange and lemons then?
All right, well, look, the orange has to be the fantastic weather we've had this weekend and really throughout the week. It was a good week of weather, wasn't it?
Certainly has. It's been nice.
What about you, mate? What's the orange?
I think the great feedback and the very impressive download numbers on episode 11 with Ned.
Are we putting that down to Ned or are we putting that down to us?
Oh, bit of column A, bit of column B, I reckon. So we've had very good numbers. Our best episode so far was episode 1 with Stu Ferenczi.
Yes, look, there's a bit of... That was our debut.
Yeah, a lot of people just tuned in for episode 1. They weren't really fishing diehards, but they had a listen.
Yeah. I think you sort of Bill Sandoz, Henry Goods of the world probably did us a favour in round 1.
And then by episode 2 or 3, you turned a lot of those folk off. But everyone is coming back. Ned McHenry on track to be the best episode yet.
There he was. All right, I'm going to give you my lemon, and it's the restrictions, mate. Not good. The Vicks are not doing a good job with this COVID business, are they?
No, look, it's a bit disappointing, isn't it?
It is disappointing, and we need to make sure we are paving the way. South Australia doing a good job. We need to keep at it. So watch this space on that one.
It is, isn't it?
What about you, mate? Gives you lemon?
I'm going to say my lemon is footy in general. Obviously, the Power lost to the Saints. Our good mate Ned McHenry is out. They've officially said managed, but he was certainly limping around on the footage I saw. So footy, in terms of this podcast, is not going well this week, mate.
No, it's not. But we'll be back bigger and better next episode, I hope.
We will.
Right, give us an update on the merch, Rhodey. I've seen some emails flinging around between you and Ange. Stubbies, are they ready to go?
They're ready to go. He has a box sitting there at Creative Concepts, ready for me to pick it up. Didn't quite get there Friday, but we'll get there early in the week. So if you're after a stubby holder, please get in contact.
Absolutely. Same colour.
Yep, same
really
colour.
Good.
Nice, bright blue. They'll stand out on the boat. They're just good gear.
Ned will be looking forward to getting a couple of those on his North Bank, won't he?
Yeah, we'll certainly flip Ned a couple. We'll look after him. They're very good quality. We've given them an absolute thrashing. Some of the lads have really not treated them too well and they've stood up to it beautifully.
They have. They've been up for the challenge of the sort of pretty rugged treatment some of the boys give them.
Yep, certainly. The caps are en route from China. We're not quite sure where they are. We're looking at them. They're somewhere in the sky coming over, I believe.
Yeah, they're coming by air?
Yeah, we paid the extra little bit to get them by air because it was going to be a bloody long way by sea.
I didn't know how they were coming, whether somebody was actually swimming them here or something. They're taking that long.
Well, the way COVID's going, we might have to do that if we're not getting anywhere else.
Okay, all right. Let's get into the fishing news, mate. You've been burying your head in the books again.
Yeah,
Tell us what's going on.
Now,
I've seen some fines floating around.
Yep, so an Oakton man fined $6,700 for committing 5 offences. He was caught by fisheries in a boat off of Middle Beach up near St Kilda. He was found to have 30 blue swimmer crabs, which is 10 over the limit for one person, 2 of which were undersized, so that's a bit disappointing. He also had too many rods. You're allowed 2 per person for those playing along at home. And was using illegal bait for crabbing. So he had chicken meat.
He's done nothing right there.
He hasn't done a lot right.
He's done nothing right. And then just to cap it all off, he's been refusing to cooperate, became obstructive, refused to provide his name and address. So I reckon the officers have just gone bang and thrown the book at him.
He's had a disappointing day.
Should.
So you can report this sort of activity to Fish Watch or through the recreational fishing app. So there's how you can go about that.
Yes, you can. All right, I'm hearing some rumours about mussel burley being banned. Is this the case?
Well, it certainly seems to be no longer available from a lot of tackle stores due to rules being tightening. This is to prevent the potential spread of aquatic disease. They've said you're not allowed to use any leftover seafood sold for human consumption for burley, so prawn heads, oyster shells, etc., etc. But the mussel burley, some of that comes from South Australia, so I'm not quite sure how that works exactly, because I think you can buy bait internationally, can't you?
Well, I think you can, and we know somebody who would be very knowledgeable in this area, don't we?
Yeah, I think if Boyd or Dan Way are listening, please get in contact with us over the socials. Give us a bit of clarification on this, because it doesn't make any sense to me that you can't use locally caught and processed mussel burley, but you can use those little Californian squid, which I'm assuming come from California.
I think that would be a safe assumption.
I'm no expert, but that doesn't make much sense to me.
It doesn't, but if you're looking for clarity, and we are, so we're shouting out to those boys, but also if you want some guidelines, you can find them on the PIRSA website.
And that'll be disappointing if we can't use mussel burley, because you're a real fan of it, aren't you?
Oh, mussel burley, it's good gear.
Yeah, you like it.
It's good gear.
The only downside of it is, when you get the big block, it's frozen solid.
Yeah.
You try and break it up, it's bloody sharp gear.
It's sharp gear, it's hard to
Fit it
get
in,
little chunks off.
Into the burley pot.
Yeah, it is.
We should really get organised and freeze it in the right size.
Yeah, we should.
Canister, container, I suppose.
Yeah, we should. Do they get the Congoli fish on the bite, Roadie?
Now, been doing a bit of reading on this. It's quite interesting gear. I'm not sure you're quite as passionate about the Congoli fish as I am. Do you know much about them?
No, I don't, mate. I know nothing about them. I saw you jotting this away in the news and thought I'll leave this one up to you. So tell the listeners.
So they're also known as the freshwater flathead, the sand trout, or the tupong.
Okay.
There is no size limit on them, and a personal bag limit of 2 or 6 for a boat.
Good eating?
I had never had one, mate. Never caught one, never seen one. I'm just a regulation internet reader about the Congoli fish.
Same dish, new fish type of operation.
Well, look, if I ever catch
Congoli?
one, I'll be sure to feature it on the podcast.
Yes, please.
So they breed in salt water. The juveniles then move upstream via fish ladders to bypass the barrages in the Coorong. So they do split their time between the fresh and the salt water around that area of the world in the lower lakes and the Coorong.
Interesting.
Now, they were on the brink of extinction during the millennial drought as mature fish couldn't make it to the saltwater to breed. So since then, they've got a plan that they've benefited from greatly. It's water for the environment, which is a part of the Murray-Darling Basin Plan. So that ensures continuous water flow through the fishways and barrages to ensure native species can live and reproduce. So they monitor that with the dams, the weirs, the locks, the pumps to ensure this water flow happens.
Yeah, it's very interesting, isn't it? And they've come back in good numbers, I see.
Numbers are booming. So 60 to 200,000 Congoli fish have been seen during annual monitoring, and they've returned to the dominant small native fish in the system.
It's any wonder that we can't pull one over the side, eh?
Yeah, look, I'm not sure what you use for bait, what sort of tackle, but we'll do a bit of research and we will see if we can't get you a Congoli live on the show.
That would be great. And any of you listeners out there caught some Congoli, send us in your photos.
I think it's an under-publicised fish.
Yeah, I'd be interested. You'd be interested. This is a good one, though. School shark stocks.
I'm not sure this is a good one, actually, mate, if you keep reading.
What is going on?
So they are now classified as critically endangered by the International Union for the Conservation of Nature. So I'm not sure what part of that is good news, mate.
It's horrible news.
So they haven't been primarily targeted since the 1980s due to declining numbers, but high bycatch rates are an issue. In 2020, the quota is at 195 tonnes of unavoidable bycatch when targeting gummy shark. So I think what they're saying is, we don't want you to catch it, but some of it's inevitable, so we're going to put a limit on what your bycatch can be.
Okay, fair enough. You see plenty of them though, don't you?
Well, obviously not enough.
Photos.
Obviously not enough. Look, I'm no researcher, but I'm gonna trust them and say we should be looking after the school shark stocks. They've done the research.
Okay.
Plenty of other ways of getting your flake apart from the school shark, I think.
Yeah, not a bad shout. There's a national carp control plan has been placed on hold.
Yeah, so this was a massive news article. A couple of years back, the herpes was talked about, how they're going to control these carp. Lots of theories thrown around, speculation. So the Fisheries Research and Development Corporation developed the plan and submitted it to the Federal Department of Agriculture, Water and Environment in January this year. There was no recommendations made public at the time. Obviously, since then, there's been a big thing called COVID-19 hit. And a lot of that carp control plan work was done at the CSIRO Biosecure Australian Centre for Disease Preparedness. What else do you think that centre does, Diz?
Oh, I reckon they're looking into the COVID, aren't they?
So certainly the carp have been put on hold, the COVID's taken priority, so we're not quite sure what will happen there.
They got bigger fish to fry, so to speak.
Yeah, look, I think maybe instead of this herpes virus, they just send a couple of us lads up with a couple of weeks supply of food and beers and see how many we can pull out.
It'd be pretty handy, I reckon.
We'd need
turn it into some, some fertiliser and some garden compost. You can chew them up nicely.
Your garden could do with a bit of carp fertiliser, I reckon.
Good, mate.
So we might see what Pez is up to, see if we can't go sit up at the stable and just pull out as many carp as we can.
Yeah, we'll go and see Sharky and Donnie and the boys with
Yeah,
Pez.
I'm sure they'll be there.
Absolutely. All right, we are still awaiting an outcome of the rec licence. We're watching that space very closely.
Yeah, and you'll be first to hear it right here on All the Gear But No Idea, guys.
Absolutely.
What else you got for us, Diz?
There's an info session coming up, Brody, 28th of July, Tuesday next week at the Henley Beach Surf Lifesaving Club. It's free to attend, and it is it's named the SA Charter Boat Fishing Tourism Development Program. It's specifically aimed at charter boat operators in allowing them to capture more tourism potential. So PIRSA has partnered with the Tourism Industry Council of South Australia. They're going to be looking at ways to support the charter boat operators. We are going to get on board. We know some really good charter operators, and certainly after them being smashed with all of this COVID stuff, we need to get out there and get amongst them.
Certainly do. The charter operators in this state are very good operators. We've been out with Gav over on KI. We've been on charters in Lincoln, Marion Bay. Where else is?
Oh, I don't know, mate. We've been on a few, and they're it's rare that you don't have a bad day. They're extremely knowledgeable people by and large, and they impart some knowledge, and you just have a good day. A few beers with the mates, it's always good. So
initiative. So that runs 5:30 till 7:30. What do you reckon we rock up at about 7:15, see if any of them had a few beers and willing to flick a few GPS marks around this?
I'm up for it, mate. If they park their boats out the back, we might be able to just sort of hover around in the back block, seeing if we can't get a few tips.
Yeah, look, I'm sure you sneaking around in the shadows of Henley Beach won't rustle up any concerns.
Put people on high alert. All right, okay, that's great fishing news this week, Rody. Well done there, mate.
No, you contributed a bit this week, which is rare, so good on you too, Diz. Thanks for that.
All right, we've got our guest now, Lee Van Soest. Rody, tell us about Lee.
So Diz, Lee is a secretary of RecFishSA. She's a Tuna Champions ambassador. She's a volunteer with the SAC Rescue, a member of Team Micks Winch, and she holds more fishing records than Dizzy could poke a stick at.
We can't wait to hear from her. Lee, welcome to the show.
Hi, how you going?
Thank you very much, Lee, for coming on the show, and certainly I reckon you're definitely not a case of all the gear but no idea. I think you've got plenty of idea, and we look forward to hearing all about it during this little segment.
Yeah, all the ideas but no gear, that's me.
All right, Lee, let's get into the 5 questions we ask all of our guests. I'm very interested about your best fish. Please tell us.
I don't know. I think they're all pretty special when you're catching record fish. Probably getting 2 state Australian records on one day with school sharks was pretty memorable. Got the 4 kilo line record and the 3 kilo line record that day. That was pretty good.
Yeah, whereabouts was that, Lee?
Down around Kangaroo Island. That's where we mainly fish off of Cape Jervis.
Yeah.
That was pretty good. I don't know. A Samson fish record was pretty good. Probably a hammerhead out of St Kilda. I don't often go out into our Gulf, but I went out there on our own boat. Finally got a boat and went out there and we're just trying for sharks. Didn't think we'd have any luck, and I got a record hammerhead shark, which I'd never even caught one of those before, and getting that on the boat and having it try to attack us was pretty memorable.
All right, Lee, thanks. That's certainly you've got more, we'll call them best fish, than me and Dizzy put together. So you've done well there. What's your favourite thing about fishing, Lee?
The relaxation and getting away from everyday life, I guess. Going out there and not having to think about anything. You go out there, you enjoy the scenery. I mean, I like pulling up all the reef fish and seeing all the colours, and, Micks always telling me, bloody throw it back and don't take pictures of that. And I like taking the pictures. So, I think one of our last trips out, we didn't really catch anything that we could bring home, but I had so much fun, like, taking photos. A lot of people on Facebook don't do fishing like we do, and they were all absolutely gobsmacked at the amount of different colour fish that we've got in our ocean. So that was, I like doing that sort of stuff.
It is always interesting when you go out fishing with someone that's not as into it as we are, and yeah, they do get excited about the red mullet or the
nest jackets.
The ornamental cowfish. They always love that one.
They're awesome.
They are
awesome.
They all look pretty cool, despite us not giving them much credit as a good eating fish, I suppose.
No, that's exactly right. Those cowfish are awesome. They feel like rocks.
They do. Lee, tell us about your first fishing memory, or what got you into fishing in the first place.
First fishing memory was fishing with my dad and my granddad in Port River. And they used to take us 3 kids fishing with them, and, having to wake up at some ungodly hour in the morning and trudging down there. I don't think we ever caught any fish there, but we certainly had a lot of fun catching those little crabs, the little rock crabs.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and you bring them home and they promptly die in the esky, but that's pretty much what I remember fishing with my dad. And then, just fishing, weekends and stuff with my partner and, with my kids. And then probably 6 or 7 years ago, I started getting into game fishing, joined the Game Fishing Club of SA, and then was asked to fish on Team Micks Winch. And since then, it's just gone absolutely berserk, and that's my main focus on everything. If I'm not working, then if I'm not doing something about fishing, I'm thinking about fishing. So, yeah, it's all time consuming, especially lately, joining the board of RecFishSA and being a Tuna Champions ambassador. Things are certainly ramping up for us there. There's going to be some interesting times ahead.
Yes, you're certainly busy in the industry, Lee. Now, what is your favourite sort of fishing and why? Is it going out and chasing those records, or what are you into most?
I don't actually go out chasing records. It just seems to happen. Fishing is, it's not quite so hard for females because there's not a lot of females that actually do that type of fishing. So, I could catch a snapper, which would be a small snapper to many of the people in the game fishing industry, the males, but the females, there aren't quite so many. So it's actually been very easy for me to get these records. Basically, some of these records, there are no records for. So, I only have to catch say a snapper on 3 kilo line. There's no actual snapper record, so it's classed as a record there. But it is hard work. Everything that you need to do to claim a record is time consuming. Weighing, measuring, having to get a stack deck, send it off the line. It's not an easy process. So, I don't know. I like going out for tuna, but I don't like trolling all day. I don't mind going out for tuna and trolling for a couple of hours in the morning and then trolling in the afternoon, but I like bottom bouncing. I like the fact that it doesn't matter where you fish. You don't even know what's going to come up.
Yeah. The suspense of it all is good.
Yeah, that's the best thing about it. You'll think you're on a snapper spot, and the next minute you get this weird looking tug on your line and you're reeling it in and you're thinking, what the bloody hell is this? And the next minute, you've got a big gummy shark on there, or something like that. You can just never tell with bottom bouncing. I like bottom bouncing.
Certainly that anticipation while you're waiting for the colour to come to the surface is really exciting, I think, Lee. You're dead right there.
Yeah, definitely.
And Lee, tell us about your funniest fishing story or the one that got away.
Oh, God. God, haven't we all got lots of those?
Oh, absolutely.
I was thinking about this before, and I couldn't actually think of anything funny. You know, what happens on the boat stays on the boat. So
Fair call.
I don't know. Maybe coast to coast tuna competition a couple of years ago that we were going into weigh-in, and the car broke down on the side of the road, so we had to call somebody. I think it was Gary Lloyd came down and gave us a lift back to Micks shack to get the other vehicle, drove back, and it was a van. The problem is we had 20-odd kilo tuna in a fishing bag, and we had to get that on top of a van. On the side of the road, so we were actually rolling this fish bag, the three of us rolling this fish bag to try to get it onto the top of the van. That was pretty funny. I really don't know. There's just, lots of bad things happen when you're out there, but you sort of forget about those and you just remember, going out there and enjoying yourself, I guess.
Yes, definitely. Thanks for those answers to the questions for us, Lee. Now we're going to move on. We've got a lot of different areas to touch on, given, as you say, you've got a lot of different involvements in fishing, but we thought we might start off with the Tuna Champion Ambassador. Tell us all about that, Lee.
Well, Tuna Champions were introduced a few years ago to promote good fishing practices with tuna. So ways to keep your catch, to get the most out of your catch, or to promote sustainability and help educate people on how to catch and release these fish. So things like, making sure that you ice the fish straight away so that you reduce their body temperature, using circle hooks, making sure that you've wet down the area so when you catch the fish they're not losing all their fish slime. So you just to help promote these things, try to get them on, tag them, get them in the water as quickly as you can. It's been a fantastic program, Australia-wide.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen, it's all over Facebook, and it's a great initiative because it certainly helped. I mean, we only really started doing some tuna fishing a few years ago, and there's definitely been some helpful tips for some rookies like us. So that's been great to see.
It's a good program. Dr. Sean Tracy, he's a lovely guy. The information that they're receiving certainly helps. I mean, he did his research. They had all their stations across South Australia where people were reporting their catch. A lot of people didn't want to report their catch because they thought bag limits and everything will be reduced, but that wasn't the case this time. We were actually highest in the state of tuna catches. So, we even beat Victoria on their total catch.
Yeah.
So, but working with other organisations, we had meetings with the minister and everything and had a really good outcome that nothing is actually going to change for the next, couple of years. So it was really handy to have that information. I think there was something like 5,000 fish caught in South Australia in that time that the survey was being done. And probably 70% of those are actually caught out of Victor Harbour.
Wow.
Yeah, it's good to have all that research that they've been doing, and we did have a look at that on an episode a little while back. It's good to have some numbers and some statistics to back up the the bag limits and boat limits and all that sort of thing, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, sure was.
All right, moving on. The next thing we wanted to ask you about was you're getting behind some kids fishing clinics that are coming up. It's still a plan in progress at the moment, but what can you tell us about that, Lee?
We're sort of halfway through the process at the moment. We're going to be organising a series of fishing clinics around the state to introduce youngsters into the fishing community. We're going to be running with a very structured program, so there'll be stations. Basically, each station will have a specialty, so there'll be a knot tying station, a fish sustainability station, that sort of thing. So kids will be able to learn how to tie knots on very simple instruments. They'll be, for instance, on the knot tying station, they've got big shark hooks with the barb removed and a rope. So they actually learn how to do these. They'll get a little passport and they'll get a stamp on the passport at each fish station. And then once they've completed those stations, they'll be able to go over to learn how to do casting, and then they'll proceed from there on to actual fishing. So that part of it is aimed at kids between 7 and 13 years old, and then we will be including the oldest kids from 13 to 16 into different events. So we'll be looking at things like having say crabbing days, fishing days, it'll be salt water, fresh water, a whole range of activities that we can introduce kids into fishing.
Yeah, absolutely. That sounds like a really good program, and we look forward to hearing more about it, Lee. Can the listeners get involved in any way, or is it sort of watch this space for the time being?
We are seeking sponsorship at the moment. We have one company that's coming on board, but we're going to need things like a trailer to get all the gazebos and all the gear moved around. So we are sort of seeking sponsors for the event, and we'll also be looking at getting local tackle shops involved. So say we're doing an event at West Lakes, we'll try to get the local tackle store there involved with gifts and prizes for the kids, so we can sort of share it around between the fishing industry. So a little bit of advertising always helps the small businesses, as well as when we do the regional clinics. Then say we go up to Port Lincoln, we can get the tackle shops involved up there, and then we hopefully we'll be able to get a couple of the bigger fishing businesses involved with show bags and that sort of stuff as well.
Yeah, beautiful, Lee. And have you got a location or a time frame on this yet?
We're hoping to start this around October, but I've got my kit that we'll be running with has to actually come from America, and with the virus going on, they are sort of locked out of their offices at the moment. So tentative date in October, but we'll have to see how it goes as far as shipping and that goes along.
Yeah, beautiful. Well, Dizzy's got a trailer, so if you do need any hand getting the gear moved around, I'll send him down for you, Lee.
Okay, no worries.
Well, really exciting stuff there, Lee, and thanks for it's a bit of hot off the press, that stuff, so that'll be really good for the listeners. It hasn't been
announced at all. No, I've done a few feelers out on my own Facebook page, and I had some great response from people of certain things that I just put a call out. If I need pictures for salmon, I'll put a call out on my own page and get it bombarded with pictures, and I've got a whole heap of kids' pictures from around the state. It's the response just to general questions that I'm asking. People know that there's things on the go, so it's been good. Fishing community's really good people. Yes,
they certainly are, and that's what we've found since we've started this podcast. Everyone's always happy to get behind this sort of project, so I'm sure you'll get a really good response, Lee.
I should do with the kids' stuff, definitely.
Yes. Now, moving on, through your involvement with RecFishSA, I think you're the secretary there, Lee, aren't you?
Yes, sure am.
Yep, so we wanted to ask about some of the citizen research, so the tagged fish in the Coorong and the Warren Reservoir. How is that all going?
No one's got them yet.
Oh, good.
So they're still out there. So a couple of reels there waiting for someone to claim. But any time you're down there, keep an eye out for those tagged fish.
Absolutely. Well, I'm not sure Rhodey will be much good at getting the tagged fish.
We will be doing some more citizen science stuff a little bit down the track, but we've got a lot of other stuff planned. So that will probably happen, I would imagine, next year. I mean, we've got cod closing season coming up, so,
that's right.
We'd like to do something with a tagged cod, but, with the closure, it's just not going to happen for a few months. So.
No, that sounds good. And Lee, can you give us any insights to what's coming next with RecFish? Is there lots on the agenda?
Yeah, lots. We've all been working behind the scenes, keeping pretty quiet, but we've got a lot of stuff on the go. We may have a tag fish comp coming up in a couple of the resis.
Awesome.
That's sort of, in sponsorship program at the moment, so we're just trying to get that all finalised before we can announce that. We've got Gone Fishing Day coming up in October. Again, we're waiting for confirmation on some of that information before we can get that out to the public. And we're also looking at doing regional comps next year. So that would be a good one, trying to get some tourism happening out in the regional centres would be great.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they'll be crying out for that after everything that's been going on with COVID and everything, so that'll be another great initiative for sure.
Yeah, it all just takes time,
It does.
We've sort of been working on a couple of these projects for the last 6 months, and it's just a very slow progress. I'm one that just goes gung-ho, and everyone has to wind me back a little bit, but... it's sort of, we have to be 6 months ahead of all of these events, which
Absolutely.
it takes up a lot of time, and a lot of people are donating a lot of their time to get these activities up and running, so...
Yeah, it's awesome, and we thank all of you guys for doing that for the rec fishing scene in South Australia. It's fantastic. Lee, tell us about you're a sea rescue volunteer. How did you get into this and what's involved? It's really intriguing us.
Yeah, how did I get involved? I think I seen something somewhere about a seamanship course that they were doing, and being out on the boat a lot of the time, I thought, well, it's probably something that I should learn. I don't very often drive a boat, but I thought I should learn this sort of stuff, so I went and did that. That was an 8-week course, once a week. That was absolutely brilliant. Totally enjoyed it. It's so many different things, and driving these little boats on the carpet, and learning knot tying, and you actually have a practical day where you have to put all this stuff, and going out on the boat and all that sort of stuff. It was absolutely brilliant. I really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And then from there, we had just completed the seamanship course, and on the last day, one of the guys there said, I've got an opening on the boat this weekend if anyone wants to come out. So me being me, stuck my hand up first. So went out on the boat, and I thought, this is bloody brilliant, Yeah. Didn't save anybody, but we didn't. We actually had an ashes, a scattering of the ashes. I didn't even know that Sea Rescue did that sort of thing, but they do run a service where if you want to get ashes spread, they take you out. So I've done a couple of those now. Very sad. I always end up crying my eyes out, hiding in the cabin crying. But I didn't know that they did that. I didn't know that it was anywhere that did do that. It does cost you, but it's not a lot of money, and you can take your members out there. So so I did that, and then I thought, well, this is great, and they were crying out for volunteers, as most community organisations are, and I thought, this will be great. So when I did the seamanship course, it was actually cheaper to become a member than it was to just pay for the course. So I became a member, and have been a member ever since. So basically every month I go out on the boat with our team. We've got a team now, and we do all sorts of stuff. We do, man over, that's my favourite thing, man overboard. You drive in the boat and you have to do this big circle, race back to them and hook them and try to get them in the boat. It's really cool fun.
Yeah.
But, a lot of different stuff. We've done a few night exercises. They're really interesting to do, doing grid search patterns and expanding square searches and all this sort of stuff. I find all that stuff absolutely fascinating, and I love being out on the boat. So, to do that. And they've also put me through a first aid course. I've done my radio course with them. So they do a lot of stuff that people don't even know about. So if they're interested in doing a course, they really need to get onto the Sea Rescue website, and then they can check everything out. You know, these courses are run a couple of times a year. Definitely do the seamanship course if you're out on a boat, because you learn lots of stuff, and if you're in trouble, you need to know what to do in these situations.
Yeah, I've seen those courses advertised, and they do look pretty interesting, particularly if you're just getting into it, I suppose.
Definitely. Even, you know, I was going out every weekend telling Mick and the boys, you know, what we learned this week.
Yeah.
And some of the stuff that I was learning, they didn't know about, and they've been fishing for 20-odd years. So a lot of stuff you'd never, ever have to use. But if you're in danger out there, and it is very dangerous going out in the water, if you think about it, if you're in that water, cold temperature, you got like 5 minutes before hypothermia starts setting in. So you need to know how to protect yourself as best you can if you're in those situations.
Yes, certainly. It's very worthwhile skills having, and something we'd encourage everyone to get involved with, Lee. Now, tell us, you did mention briefly some of your records you've got. So you've got some carp records, we saw you had a snapper record, you told us about some of your shark records. How many records do you have in total, Lee?
About 16, I think.
A lot more than you, Rody.
That is...
You're absolutely paving the way, Lee, for women's fishing. Do you think this is a growth area? You're obviously very passionate about growing rec fishing.
Yeah, I think it is. Women's fishing is the highest growth rate in the fishing industry.
Yeah.
So women are really, you know, taking it in their stride, and they're getting out there to give it a go, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, I've got records for, I think, 2, 3, 4 kilo snapper, state and Australian. Got them for hammerhead sharks, school sharks, carp. I can't even remember.
We're just getting more and more jealous as we reel them off.
Yeah, but I have beaten myself a couple of times. So, you know, I might have 16 certificates, but I've beaten myself a couple of times on the snapper and a couple of times on a couple of other fish. I think I got the Samson fish, and then I beat myself again next time I went out on the Samson fish. So I'm upgrading.
That's the way.
And not only have you got records, Lee, you've had some success in some of the fishing competitions, the coast to coast, and a few of them with teams Mick Winch. Tell us about some of that.
Yeah, I love that. Coast to coast is my comp. That's the thing I aim for every year. If I'm going to fish any comp, it will be that one. I love that comp. I've been involved with both Steves from before that competition came, so I fish that. Every year I fish. I think I've had one bad year. I haven't been in the placings for 1 year out of all the years they've been going. But that was really bad. I think that was the second year we did it, and it really, really made a stupid mistake and woke up after a night of drinking and sort of got woken up with a bang on the tent. Get up. And I sort of rolled out, and I'm like, have you got all the gear? Yeah, it's all in the boat. And then went out in the boat, went to throw the rods out, and my rods were actually on land.
Oh, no.
So, yeah, that's how my fishing trip went that weekend. That set the tone, and I really bombed out. But that was the only time. So, you know, I think it's been going, 7 years now? It was the worst one.
Yeah.
But fishing's it's just a luck, you know. It's there's a bit of skill involved. You've got to know where the fish are going to be and all that sort of stuff. But it's a luck thing, and I've just been really, really lucky that's my competition every year. I'm just lucky.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, that's really good. And Lee, you've been a fantastic guest. We can't thank you enough. You're clearly extremely passionate about rec fishing in South Australia, and we thank you for that. And we look forward to hearing more about what you're up to over the coming months.
Yeah, no worries. I'll give you a heads up when we're about to do these launches, and you know, help us get the word out to what we're doing.
Absolutely, get us involved. We love it, and yeah, thank you again, Lee. Can't thank you enough for your time.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
Cheers, Lee.
Thanks a lot, Lee.
See ya.
Okay, thanks a lot to Lee for joining us on the podcast. Really good guest is. What do you reckon?
Oh, she was fantastic, mate. She's a far better fisherwoman than us.
I'm not sure that's that hard though, really, is it?
Yeah, cool. She's got some serious records, and she's definitely very passionate about the rec fishing scene, which is great. Rody, let's get into the fishing report, mate. You've got the first little report for us. You had a friend go away on a trip. Tell us about that, and what did he get onto?
Yeah, Pete took the family over to the Eyre Peninsula for I think they might have gone for maybe 10 days over the school holidays.
Nice
Took
break.
the squid gear, a couple of lures. They had lots of success by the sounds. They caught a couple of squid every night, just about. Most of their luck was at Louth Bay and Streaky Bay, where they got some good size.
Yep.
And they also caught some salmon trout in the late afternoon across many of the beaches on the Eyre Peninsula.
Just a little metal lure, or didn't get that far?
I think it was a little metal slug.
Yeah.
But I'll find out at work and let you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've been onto the squid at Warina. I'm sure that Richard outfished you, but what happened? How many did you get?
We got 4 between us. It was not a bad little haul. We won't go into the details on who caught what.
Richard caught them all,
But they were good fish, good little squid. And we will go from there. Nice day on the water. Conditions were perfect.
Yes, and certainly if you follow the All the Gear But No Idea Instagram page, you'll also see that our good friend and fan of the show, Skiri, got onto some gummies.
He did 4 nice gummy sharks off of Beachport. He's a good man, Skiri. He shared it with the All the Gear But No Idea Instagram. He tagged us in it like you all should be doing.
Absolutely, mate. They were good, and I'm sure we got a nice little feed out of those.
He would have enjoyed that. What else has been biting, Diz?
The barrels, mate, they're back. They've had a good little run, particularly down at Port Mac. The fishing charter operators down there have done very well. 4 hookups in 1 day, 2 landed.
That's good going, isn't it?
I reckon that's a case of what that guy was telling us when we were out on the charter. They were feeding that hard that they've smashed the skirt as it's gone back up the line. Do you reckon? A couple of bust-offs?
They could have, mate. They could have. I don't know. I wasn't there. I haven't read that much about it. I know they got 4 hookups and 2 were landed. There's probably many ways they could have got off, but that's one of them.
Why don't you run with that?
Oh, you can run with it, mate. I'll let you spin that yarn. I'd hate for the Port Mac Fishing Charters folks to be avid listeners of the show and us to be spinning false information.
Fair enough. The Bonza Exocet with wings is doing the damage, but I also know a really good brand of lures which does do the damage on the barrels.
Righto, mate. Tell us about them. What are they?
Flacky, our man, Try So Hard Lures. Can't wait to see what's coming for the tuna season later this year. We're gonna have to go and con him into showing us around his shed, aren't we?
Yeah, I think we will. I think we'll get him to rig us up something bloody perfectly suited to the north coast of KI for the annual trip. We'll get something that's just perfect for the job.
Yeah, I reckon. I mean, last couple we've seen them jumping, little jumpy boys.
We have, and we haven't always caught them.
We haven't always caught them, and I reckon our problem is we haven't hit up Flacky and got him to design us a little skirt for the trip.
Right, well, we know the problem, we know the solution. There's no excuses now, mate.
Absolutely. Rody, one last thing on the fishing report, mate. The bloodworm run has been on.
Yeah, there's been photos and videos floating around everywhere. There was a lot of them.
Some seriously good hauls.
That's one of those things we've sort of talked about doing and we've never actually done it.
Oh, mate, I saw there's some Facebook photos going around of just some big hauls.
Out in the Port River, I think.
Yeah, they've gone hard. So
and
that's good.
We've missed them for another year, I think, haven't we?
I think so. Anyway, we'll get onto it next year.
Yeah, look. Put it on the to-do list.
Absolutely. All right, well, that just about wraps up the fishing report. Rhodey, how do the listeners get involved? We've seen a jump in listeners. I'm hoping that continues. Lee was a great guest. There's no reason why he wouldn't get on board.
No, certainly we're getting some really good guests. Ned was great last week. Lee's been really good. We've had all the politicians. We've had the Marfac. We've had all of them. Make sure you go back and listen through the back catalogue of episodes. Go back to the very start, the Stu Ferencis, the Tommy Jonas, the Boyds, the Kim Mannings for your river fishos.
Pezza.
Yeah, Pez spun a yarn with us one day.
He's good.
Lee Saraceno, if you want to know how to bloody keep your boat in top nick.
Shane Mansforth, Alex Williams, serious good fisherman. Unbelievable.
Yeah, no, it is good. It's really good.
And yeah, look, you can find us. You can find us on Facebook. We'll be posting the episodes. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, through our Buzzsprout website. You can't miss us, really.
Yeah, and make sure you take a leaf out of Skeery's book, tag us in all your fishing adventures, flick us a photo, and we'll share it to the listeners. You'll get a bit of respect for getting on the all the gear but no idea Instagram feed. All the boys will love it.
Absolutely. All right, now time for the main event, big man.
It's your turn for a joke, and after all the cheek you give me, this better be good.
I'm not sure this is good. I'm still campaigning strongly to try and get rid of this segment. I couldn't find a fishing-related riddle that I was confident was going to stump you, so I'm back on a joke. Right. Old mate Bob, he's walking down the street and he sees a kid on his front porch jigging away in a bucket. Strange sight, you'd agree, Brady. As he reaches the kid, he stops for a better look and he looks in the bucket and goes, oh, there's nothing in there. So he says to the young fella, what are you fishing for, son? And he said, oh, mate, I'm just fishing for suckers. And Bob smiles and says, oh, have you caught any yet? He said, yeah, mate, you're the 10th.
Probably not your worst, but certainly not your best.
All right, well, that wraps up today's episode. Lee Van Soest, fantastic guest. As we've said, she is doing some great things for the fishing scene, and we look forward to hearing what's to come, and we'll be first to drop the news when it does.
Yeah, we'll get involved in that. The kids' fishing clinics, we'll share all the gear for you. We might get Dizzy down there to show some of the youngsters how to tie a knot.
We won't get latchy.
No, we won't. You are, I'm going to give you some credit here. You are pretty handy on the bimini twist.
Thank you. Good shouts.
If you were making a resume, that'd be number one, I reckon.
Good stuff. All right, thanks for listening, guys. We'll speak to you next time.
See ya.
Rhodey and Diz hope you enjoyed today's episode of All the Gear But No Idea. Keep up to date by liking and sharing us on Facebook and Instagram. And you can subscribe on all the major podcast platforms. Until next time, good luck fishing.